Washington, India is working on new partnerships. As we speak, New Delhi is hosting the President of the Philippines. He is Ferdinand Marcos Jr., better known as Bongbong. He arrived in New Delhi yesterday. He will be staying here for 5 days. Yesterday, Marcos met India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar. The focus was on bilateral ties. Today, there was a lot lined up. First, there was a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. After this, he met Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two sides upgraded ties to a strategic partnership.
आज का दिन हमारे द्विपक्षीय संबंधों के लिए एक ऐतिहासिक दिन है। हम भारत फिलीपींस संबंधों को स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप स्तर पर ले जा रहे हैं।
Our cooperation's tempo has increased in the last few years, and in security and defense, in trade, investments, health, and other fields of endeavor. I am elated therefore, today we further ratify this friendship by elevating it into a full-fledged strategic partnership.
Then it was straight to business. A string of important announcements followed. First was defense and maritime security. Both sides spoke of growing trust between their militaries, and it's not just talk. On Sunday, India and the Philippines held their first ever joint naval drill, that too in the South China Sea. So a symbolic move and a strategic one. India is already supplying the BrahMos missiles to Manila. And this could be just the beginning. More naval cooperation, more arms deals, everything is on the table.
इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र में शांति, सुरक्षा, समृद्धि और रूल बेस्ड ऑर्डर के लिए हम प्रतिबद्ध हैं। हम अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानूनों के अनुरूप फ्रीडम ऑफ नेविगेशन का समर्थन करते हैं। अगले वर्ष फिलीपींस आसियान की अध्यक्षता करेगा। इसकी सफलता के लिए हम पूरा सहयोग देंगे।
Second is digital infrastructure. India will help Manila develop a sovereign data cloud. What does that mean? It is basically a national data storage and management system that is not controlled by any other country. And it's a big move in this digital age, especially as cyber sovereignty becomes crucial. The two sides will also look at linking national payment systems. The third is trade. Right now, bilateral trade is around $3 billion. Both countries want to ramp it up. So they are looking at a review of the India-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement. ASEAN is a Southeast Asian regional bloc. It is an important market and economic grouping. Next year, the Philippines will be the ASEAN chair, so trade will be a top priority.
The economic sphere has been a steady engine driving our ties for 7+ decades. True to our strategic partnership, Prime Minister Modi and I have charged our economic teams to shepherd our commerce, now at the $3.3 billion in the last year, towards a continued upward trajectory and expanded baskets of goods. To this end, we have decided to expedite the work that we are doing to forge a bilateral preferential trade agreement.
The fourth is tourism. Both sides are granting tourists a visa-free entry, so Indians can now go to the Philippines visa-free and vice versa. There are also talks about direct flights between New Delhi and Manila.
फ्रेंड्स, भारतीय पर्यटकों को वीजा फ्री एंट्री देने के फिलीपींस के निर्णय का हम स्वागत करते हैं। भारत ने भी फिलीपींस के पर्यटकों को फ्री ई वीजा सुविधा देने का फैसला लिया है। इस साल दिल्ली और मनीला के बीच डायरेक्ट फ्लाइट्स शुरू करने के लिए काम किया जाएगा।
India and the Philippines have shared diplomatic ties since 1949. Culturally, the connection runs deep. Politically, there were visits and gestures. But for decades, there was very little substance. In 1991, India launched its Look East policy, an effort to engage Southeast Asia. Prime Minister Modi upgraded it to the Act East policy in 2014. But Manila still stayed at arm's length. That posture changed only recently. The turning point, in fact, came in 2022. The Philippines signed a $375 million deal with India, a deal to buy the BrahMos missile. Manila became the first foreign buyer of the Indian BrahMos. In April this year, India delivered the second batch of these missiles, and that has cemented ties. Manila now sees New Delhi as a serious defense partner. Like I said, we saw more proof of that this week with the first ever joint naval drills in the South China Sea. So what has changed? What prompted this shift? What brought these two countries together? A common adversary in China. Beijing is expanding its claims in the South China Sea. It is attacking Filipino vessels. It is encroaching on Filipino territory. Manila has been assertive about defending itself. So it is diversifying its defense partners. And India has stepped in at just the right time. New Delhi wants to be a key player in shaping the Indo-Pacific. And the Philippines, like I said, wants to diversify its options. Right now, it relies on the US for defense. But the US under Donald Trump is not a dependable partner. Look at what they did with Taiwan. The Taiwanese president wanted to visit the US, but Trump reportedly killed that plan because that would have upset China. Manila would have watched those developments and worried about its own dependence on the American security umbrella. So it makes sense to partner with other major powers. Enter India with its affordable and effective military supplies and shared security goals. For New Delhi, this partnership is about a stronger foothold in Southeast Asia and a diplomatic win against China. You see, the Indo-Pacific is the new power theater. If you want to shape it, you cannot stay on the sidelines. So India and the Philippines are making sure that they are in the game. Plus, the optics are good. President Marcos is going beyond New Delhi. He is visiting Bengaluru, India's tech capital. That's where the cloud and fintech partnerships will take shape. So this state visit is not a diplomatic courtesy call. It's a strategic reset. For years, India and the Philippines were friends on paper, but now they're turning into partners. This time, they're not just making statements, they're making moves on land, at sea, and in the cloud. Now let's shift our attention to northern India, where an entire town was swept away in the Himalayas. There was a massive, like Foreign Minister Gideon Sar and Israel's army chief Eyal Zamir. Reports say Zamir is opposed to the occupation plan. He has two main